Senior Programmer Heidi Swicker, and I'm so thrilled to be here to introduce the world premiere of Bunnylovr, directed by Katarina Zhu. Talented Katarina Zhu writes, directs, and stars in Bunnylovr, a sensitive character study of a young woman who is drifting in life, unsure of her direction. It's a film that feels so achingly true in every moment and brought us an understanding of a character we'd never seen centered in a film this way. It's an incredibly impressive and assured feature debut. We're so proud to have it as a part of our U.S. dramatic competition. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the director of Bunnylovr, Katarina Zhu.
Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'm like delirious with gratitude and excitement. This film, or the process of making this film, I feel like became sort of exercise in giving myself permission to bear parts of myself that I had previously thought were too much, too weird or ugly or vain. And my hope is that you guys walk away from the film tonight feeling that some of that same sort of sense of permission to be too much or not enough or whatever. And that process was made so much easier thanks to my incredible producers, Roger, Ani, Tristan, Rhiannon, Rachel. Incredible cast and crew, many of whom are here tonight. You guys, thank you for your generosity and your talent. Thank you to my manager, Anna. Thank you to my brother. Thank you also, of course, I'm gonna say this again, thank you to someone who, without her, none of us would be gathered in this room tonight. Thank you, Rachel. I love you so much. And lastly, thank you, Sundance, for programming our films. Is like beyond a dream come true. I'm so excited for you guys to watch the film.
Please join me in welcoming back to the stage the director of Bunnylovr, Katarina Zhu. Would you like to ask some of the cast to join you?
Yeah, I would love to bring up Rachel, Senate,
Thank you all so much for being here. I think we can jump right into the Q&A. I'm going to start off with the first few questions, but if you have a question, please just raise your hand. We'd love to hear from you. So, Katarina, before the film, you talked about the process of making this film as giving yourself permission. And I was wondering, in the writing process, if there were ever times that you were surprised where you allowed Rebecca's story to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were definitely a couple moments where maybe I took it further than I thought that it would go. I think what you ultimately see in this film is sort of like a pulled back version. I think there were earlier versions where like I really went there, like darker things happened, and I think that definitely was, I surprised myself. But
I was just gonna say, I'm thinking back to our conversation we had, which we kind of have in the movie, where Katarina was like, I'm just gonna show this, I think I'm a pervert. Where Katarina's like, I've made a disgusting perverted film. And I think sometimes, yeah, I'm gonna fucking say the female gaze kill me. Okay, but sometimes it's like you're making something and you're literally like, I'm sick and fucking twisted. But I think like when I see so many scenes like the masturbation scene, the sex scene, any of those scenes that are a little more like sexual or raw or risky, I feel like they're done in this amazing way through the lens of the amazing filmmaker where like I feel seen through them. And I'm not like, you perv. Yeah.
So this is your first feature. You wrote it, directed, and starred. How did you prepare for on-set juggling acting and directing?
I feel like I have to give so much credit to my amazing producers. Honestly, like my entire cast and my crew, I feel like everybody was so supportive and like really, really trusted me. And also we did like massive amounts of prep, obviously, as much as we could. But this was like done on a very, very short timeline. We shot in August, wrapped end of August, and but my producers, I think, made that job so much easier for me. I feel like I was able to step onto set and just go into actor mode when I needed to go into actor mode, and I was, they were shielding me from all of the catastrophes that were happening.
And before we go to the audience, I would love to ask all of the cast, I think as an audience, we see all of your characters through Rebecca's eyes, through her experiences with you. I'd love to hear how you each approached your characters.
Me?
You can start.
I think I drew on our friendship for a basis of love, people we knew for a little bit of laughs, and then probably some bad things about myself too. Just, I'll keep it real, I'm not so different.
I really don't know. There's a lot of talking and collaboration with Katarina, and it was just sort of, I don't know, I want to get into the whole thing. It's digital, so we had a lot of takes. And we tried a lot of different things, but like we talked about it earlier, it was different for me because it was so contained in this really small box, and you're trying to do, as much as you can and not at the same time in this tiny thing, which is kind of strange because normally you're acting with someone and you're moving and you have all these things going on. So I guess that was.
Yeah, just drew on people that I knew, and definitely none of my own experiences. But no, just being drawn into the world that Katarina created, and it was all there. So.
Well, as a Chinese American who have worked in film in quite a while, it was rare to have a script like this come into my desk, and I went, oh my God, it's just something that I want to be a part of right away. And when I met with Kat and I saw that it was such a personal story, I just wanted to do like any actor, serve the story. It's so good, and the script was just it just told the story that we never really get to see in our community. So I just surrendered myself to Katarina's direction as best as I could, so.
Let's see if we have some audience questions. Yes, please.
So I was wondering, what was your inspiration for this film, and what did you yourself, play on to create this story and the characters?
So this is a question about the inspiration for the film.
I think there were a couple of different threads of inspiration. I went through a very protracted breakup in 2020, which Rachel helped
We were there.
me heal from. She was there for every moment.
We were in it.
And I was interested in exploring that space that you're in when you're heartbroken and you're so vulnerable and so much more willing to do things that you might not normally do, like start a relationship with a strange man online who said you honey. And then also I grew up on the internet. I was, like many of us were so online, and I found a lot of community and validation and agency online, more online than I did in real life, and I think I was interested in exploring that space too, and like the dissonance between the online persona that you create and then the reality of like a real life relationship that oftentimes is painful and awkward and, you know, nothing like you maybe expect it to be. And then lastly, the father-daughter relationship is based off of my relationship with my dad, which is that we're estranged. We haven't spoken for over 15 years. And I sort of just went down this rabbit hole of like, what if we ran into each other on the street in Chinatown and rekindled our relationship?
Yes, please, right in front.
I thought the music was really cool. I was wondering how you decided like what songs to use, what to add, things like that, because I really thought it was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, I was just in the audience and came back in here. This is a question about the selection of the music in the film.
Yes, well, I have an amazing, our amazing music supervisor, Ella, here to thank for all of music production got me my dream songs. I think they're all just like songs that I've always really loved, and Detonate, Rach, shout out Rachel for
Texted Charlie.
Yeah.
Sent Charlie the script.
Yeah.
Well, Katarina shot like a proof of concept, and so I shared that with her, and then also the script, and she was like down, and it's such a good song. So
Yeah, you know what, that album, How I'm Feeling Now, that got me through the protracted painful period. And so that song is always gonna be in like something that I did about it forever. And yeah, all the other songs I feel like are just from different periods of my life that they've meant something to me.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm wondering, in light of like this protracted breakup, I guess, I was wondering if you had any advice for your character in the film. Like, how does she stop from going back to Cardiff?
Oh my gosh, I think this might be advice that Rachel gave you, which is that like it's okay, like you have to just like get it out of
you just have to
There's
go.
no
Call the Uber. Go. Fuck him again. It's okay. You have to get it out of your system. We would call each other on the phone and be like, okay, one more time. You can do it this time. You can do it this time, and then this is the last one. Swear to God.
a moment where I was like about to I was about to go over to my ex-boyfriend's. I was standing on a street corner. Rachel called me. She was like, "I'm calling you an Uber to go home right now."
Do not go. Do not go.
But then she was like, "But it's totally okay. Also, if you want to go, go."
But then you just get it out, and then it's just a passage of
You
time.
have to get burned. Look
at us now.
Saying of, like, the fire.
Forge in the fire.
No, it's
Okay. Phoenix in the flames.
You get like what? Something burned.
Burn twice.
I don't know. Something about.
Have sex with him one more time. Go home. That's the same.
Yeah.
You know it.
Exactly.
Time for a couple more audience questions. No one wants to follow that? I understand nobody wants to follow that. Yes, please.
So it was so fun to see a creative show something that's so vulnerable to an audience that I think we're all perverted in their own way. And you mentioned something about maybe not going so dark in certain aspects. Was it for us or was it for you that you chose not to?
So when you made the change to not go so dark, do you feel that was a choice you made for the audience, or was that a choice you made for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like some of I think it was a mix of both. You know, like I think I, as a filmmaker, want to be considerate of the audience, and also I mean, ultimately, I think that the choices that were made were in service of the prevailing feeling that I wanted people to leave with, which is like one of hopefulness and like, you know, more like lightness. And I think taking it to that darker place wasn't actually what best served what I was trying to do, and best served the story.
Thank you. We have time for one last question. I think I saw one more. Yes, please.
How much room was there for improvisation on set, or did you stick heavily to the script?
So how much room was there for improvisation on the set, or did you stick very closely to the script?
I think there's like 70. What do you
thought there was a good amount.
He's improving right now.
Yeah. Yeah. She, if you had an idea, which was really cool, you know, normally you work with, you know, like veteran directors are just like, yeah, do whatever. And it felt like she had been directing for 50 years. Like she just didn't want control. She wanted you to feel like you had control over what you were doing and what you were saying. And if it didn't work, she'd be like, yeah, let's go back to that, you know. And you're like, okay, great, awesome. So I don't know, felt pretty free. I don't feel very controlled.
I felt free as well.
Any last words, Katarina? Is there? Yeah, please go ahead.
You had a lot of improvisation.
Yeah.
There was, you did improvise a lot, right? Okay, sorry. Never mind. There's a problem. Last words, just I thank you guys all so much for coming out to see this.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.